Welcome to the Valhalla Filmcast. I'm Brian Hammond, and joining me today, I have Cody Ryrie. How you doing, Cody?
Bienvenidos. Good, good.
We got kind of a little fun show for you. One that I've been waiting for several weeks to do. This is most wanted titles that have yet to be released on Blu-ray or DVD or whatever. VHS, if it's been that long. I'm going to jump right into it with my first title. Now, this is in no particular order. Cody, did you rank yours?
The only one that's ranked is my number one, Wanted. The rest of them aren't ranked.
Okay.
So,
well, I think I can pull a number one out of there. So, the first one I went with is What Lies Beneath, a Robert Zemeckis film.
Yeah.
DreamWorks. Get on it, DreamWorks. That came out in 2000. And it stars Harrison Ford, Michelle Pfeiffer, and it's just this kind of thriller. I'm sure you guys have all seen it, where I won't give away anything, but it's a good film. I remember it probably stands out more in my mind because I watched that with my wife shortly after we were married in the theater, and it was just a good suspense thriller, and I like it, and it's not out yet. Get with it. So,
well, it's
what's
fascinating because that was commenting on What Lies Beneath. That was the movie that Zemeckis made with his whole crew while they were taking a 1.5-year break, I think, from Castaway, because they filmed the first part of Castaway where Tom Hanks was all chubby and didn't have a beard, and they took a 1.5 year, I want to say it's a 1.5-year break for him to grow a beard and lose all the weight, in which time they made What Lies Beneath, and then they went back and filmed the second half of Castaway. So a kind of neat little tidbit,
not trivia.
just to stay sharp.
I'm familiar with it. If they released a Blu-ray, I'd probably see that in the supplementals.
That's probably true. Because on the DVD, I think Zemeckis did a commentary.
Did he?
So yeah, there's lots of.
I don't even own the
great performance.
the
I love the Harrison Ford is fantastic in that movie.
Yeah,
so
it was really good.
Okay, my number 10 pick is A Prairie Home Companion. And everybody who's listened to this or read the blog knows I'm a really big Garrison Keillor fan, as well as I'm becoming a big Robert Altman fan who directed that. And that was his last movie that he made. It's in the great movies list that Roger Ebert did. It's high time for it to have a Blu-ray release. And I guess I get excited because, okay, on one hand, it stinks that these movies haven't been released on Blu-ray. On the other hand, because it's been so long, we have a much better chance of getting a good quality Blu-ray versus back in 2007. Yeah, exactly.
Probably good special features too. And
right,
the longer
and the DVD. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the longer these studios hold out, the more chances, these kind of sub labels, the boutique labels that pick up and do a really chucked full special editions of them, because the fans have been waiting for so long. So that's happened before.
Well, this one, and also there's another Altman film that I just thought of. It's about like high society, and Adrian Brody's in it. It came out when I was in high school. I don't remember. Anyway, it's not on Blu-ray either. And I know that Criterion has an itch for Robert Altman. They just did The Player. They did a fantastic job with The Player. So keep your fingers crossed that Criterion will keep getting those Robert Altman titles.
Yeah, they have Nashville and Three Women as well.
Mm-hmm. Shortcuts, so, they also have.
They have a good... Yeah. So, okay, that's a good one.
Gosford Park. Sorry, I just came back in my brain. Gosford Park, that's the name of it. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. Again, these are kind of in no particular order. However, they're starting to become in order the closer I'm getting to them. So, my number 9, I guess. Sure. This is a Fox film from 1989, Fly 2. Now, you've probably found out by now, that listening to me, that I have like this niche, period of films between 70s and 80s that I grew up with, that I really have an affinity for, a real love for. They may not be the highest quality. It's not highbrow by any means, but that stars Eric Stoltz and Daphne Zuniga, if I'm not mistaken. And there's just they're films that impacted me as a kid, probably for worse than better, that scared me. And
Yeah.
and so I just like them. I have a soft place in my heart for them. There's one line from that I still remember to this day, when Daphne says to Eric Stoltz's character, and I even forget his name. It's Brendel's son, but she says, whoever, you're getting worse, and he looks at her and says, no, I'm getting better. And anyways, that's my favorite line from the whole movie. So,
well, did Cronenberg didn't do the second one?
He did not. No.
Okay.
No, and I don't remember who. I should have wrote that down, but sorry, guys.
I have not seen The Fly.
You have not?
I hear it's a classic, and strangely enough, my father or my stepdad, he's mostly kind of an action movie Western guy, but he has a really soft spot for the David Cronenberg Fly. And he keeps telling me I gotta see it.
You gotta see it. I have it if you need to borrow it.
I do. Okay. Is it my turn?
Yep.
Let's see. We're on number 9. My number 9 pick is Open Range. Open Range is a fantastic Western directed by and starring Kevin Costner from the early 2000s. It also has Robert Duvall in a fantastic performance. It's the story of cattle ranchers who come into a town, and when they get there, the local hooligans, run by Dumbledore, who's he has an Irish accent in this actually, and he's horrible and violent and terrible, and it's kind of classic Western with a little romance thrown in, and has what I think is arguably the best shootout in any movie at the end of it. It's about this 15-20 minute shootout that is just incredible.
Really?
Yeah, and the movie builds it up so perfectly. The characters are so well written, so well acted. Kevin Costner is a super talented guy when he gets the right material, and this is almost the perfect modern Western, and it is not on Blu-ray. I have the 2-disc DVD that has some great special features, but
that's interesting. Not only have I not seen it, I'm pressed to try to remember even hearing of that.
Really?
That's unbelievable, and I just looked it up. It's directed by Kevin Costner, and I'm surprised that's missed my radar. So I'll definitely have to check that out. That's why I love doing these lists, because we get things for us to watch in the future. So it's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully that's what our listeners are doing as well. All right, number 8. Let's see. I'm going to throw out James Cameron's The Abyss. Now this one's been waited for. This one's been waited for.
Stole one of mine. Go ahead.
Sorry for the longest time. However, here's some information for you. It now has a release date. January of 2017. Yeah. James Cameron is coming out with it's a 4K scan, and it comes out early January. And so it's been long talked about, The Abyss, and also True Lies, another Cameron film that have been alluded to for a long time, that they're going to be released, and it just never has come to fruition. And another one of those holdouts that I remember is Bad Boys 2. How everyone, they even have previews of it coming soon to Blu-ray, and then they just never came. And True Lies was the exact same way. And so they're kind of all in that same group.
I do know now that Bad Boys 2 has gotten a Blu-ray.
Yeah, it has. And a new scan as well. So, yeah, that was alleviated. Abyss is next, and I'm assuming True Lies is coming up as well, which is a great film that I enjoyed growing up too. So.
Okay, well, there goes my number 3 pick.
Sorry.
Thank you for that. Okay, well, it's a fantastic movie, and it's a movie that the thing about it that's so tragic is that not only is it is on DVD, but the DVD is not anamorphic. So if you watch it on a widescreen TV, it's in a little box in the middle, and it's still widescreen. It's terrible, and then you have to zoom it in, and the quality's awful. So long overdue. Can't wait. My number 8 is a French film called Les Samurais, and it's a film directed by Jean-Pierre Melville. I have the Criterion DVD of that, and it's this fantastic little crime movie about a hitman, and it's one night in his life and how he goes about his job, and just one of the most interesting movies. The main character doesn't speak hardly at all. It's very fascinating. It's all filmed on like the Paris subways and the Paris underground, and just one of my favorite crime movies of all time. The DVD does not look fantastic. It doesn't look bad. I'm sure they did the best they could, but it's an early DVD, I think. And we still haven't seen a Blu-ray release of this. And I'm a little worried because I think a lot of Jean-Pierre Melville's films Criterion lost the rights to, and Studio Canal has them. Maybe you can enlighten me on that if that's true or not.
Well, yeah, I just know that there's, I think, 3 titles that have gone out of print on the Criterion line. And so, yeah, it doesn't look great. But
well, anyway, I'll just make myself feel better with my DVD for the time being. Because it's a good DVD. Go. It's not like The Abyss. It's a good DVD.
Sure. All right. That was your number 8, right?
Yeah, because you stole my number 3. Anyway, yeah.
Sorry. All right, number 7. Again, these are loosely in order, by the way. Sting 2 from 1983. Jackie Gleason, Mac Davis, and Terry Garr. I remember being on a Sting kick where I watched the Sting like probably, I don't know, a couple times a week. And then I remember when Sting came out, and I had my I remember, getting my family to rent it, and after kind of some persistence on my part, they rented it, and it wasn't a great film. I haven't revisited it since I watched it, but I remember being totally enthralled with it. So, like I said, my lists are a little skewed because they're not like critically acclaimed at all. Like Sting 2 was panned for sure.
Yeah, the Sting 2's on a lot of lists of the worst sequels of all time that I've read.
I know. Yeah. But that doesn't matter, You can still appreciate and love, films that aren't the greatest. So
fair enough. Okay, my number 7 is a movie by The Archers, who are some of my favorite filmmakers. We know that from The Red Shoes, and it's A Matter of Life and Death, which I have the DVD of, and it's a good DVD, but oh man, these men know how to use Technicolor like nobody's business. And if you look at the life and death of Colonel Blimp or Black Narcissus or even Red Shoes, like we're talking about, some of the most gorgeous movies ever made, period. And A Matter of Life and Death is the story of David Niven plays this British Air Force pilot during World War II, and he's shot down over the English Channel. And on his way home, trying to get there, he gets shot down, like I said, and the fog is so thick that the angels who are supposed to pick him up when he dies can't find him. And so he doesn't die like he's supposed to. He ends up on the shore of England. And then there's this big kerfuffle up in heaven where they have to go back and they have to convince him that no, he's supposed to be dead. He's not supposed to be alive. And they have a big trial about it. And the cool thing about it is it's kind of this fun romance, supernatural thing. But heaven is all filmed in black and white. And earth is all filmed in glorious Technicolor. And it's this really interesting back and forth. Wow. There's a lot of comedy, drama. It's a movie unlike any other that I know of. It kind of fits into that Wings of Desire category where angels are used as metaphors for things, but not a heavy serious movie, but a lot of fun and a visual treat, which is why I'm really excited for a Blu-ray, because it would look great.
Was that DVD a Criterion title?
No, it was not.
Oh, nice. Well, maybe they'll get that. They pick up a lot of the Archers.
They've got a lot of the Archers. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, number 6. So let me pick here. I'm gonna go with Little Rascals. This
your lists.
What?
Oh, they're crazy. Sorry, no, go ahead.
No, I love the Little Rascals. And there is no Blu-ray release. Tons of DVDs, and Leonard Maltin did this big collection of really good, and did commentary, a lot of good special features. However, I want to have a good Blu-ray upgrade of them. And yeah, I love them. Love watching them with the kids.
We're talking the original black and white Little Rascals.
Yeah,
not the
original
color remake.
Oh no,
okay.
The movies don't exist to me. So yeah, no, we're talking the black and white one with the whole R gang. Yeah. So if you don't know what the Little Rascals are, go look it up. If you live in a hole somewhere and have never heard of them, it's great.
Respect.
Yeah.
Well, this is interesting. Getting into number 6, and we've only had one duplicate. I thought we'd have a lot more than this. This is interesting. I guess we should have said before we did this, we did not know the others' list. We still don't know the ending of them. So just to keep ourselves interested,
Sure.
so we don't fall asleep during recording.
Yeah, we get bored.
Yeah, my number 6 is The Magnificent Ambersons, which I do have the DVD of this. It came with my Citizen Kane Blu-ray, but it's the second film by Orson Welles. It was famously re-edited without his input. So it's, for a lot of people, compromised. Yet even in its compromised form with a changed ending that was reshot and a bunch of other stuff, it is a fantastic movie. Joseph Cotten it's basically the entire cast of Citizen Kane transported over to another film about a rich family, and especially a rich young guy who grows up spoiled, and the choices that he makes as the world kind of grows older, or America grows older. Like other Orson Welles films, it minimizes it to describe it. A lot of it is in the artistry of how well it's made. And I love the movie. The DVD's not bad, but it's long overdue. We can't wait any longer for this hidden footage to show up. I don't think it's going to happen. We should just dive in and do the Blu-ray. I know that it happened with Metropolis. Ever said that about Metropolis? It was like 80 years, and they found the lost footage. But that happens. They can always re-release it. I don't know why we're pussyfooting around when it's an Orson Welles movie, for crying out loud. It should
there
be
you
out.
go. This is another title that I have not seen yet, but it's been on my radar for some time, and if you'll ever borrow or lend me another movie again, which is questionable at this point. I still have 2 of his films that he's waiting to get back. We live like an hour apart. It's hard to get him back.
It's
to
difficult.
You, yeah. So yeah, that's definitely one that I want to see. I think that was an Amazon exclusive when you bought Citizen Kane, and I missed that and just got the 70th anniversary of Citizen Kane. So I was kind of bent out of shape over that, but yeah, hopefully we'll get a Blu-ray upgrade of that soon. All right, let's see, number 5. I'm going to say another film from '86. This is kind of a shout out to my friend in Boise, Devin. I know you don't listen, but if you do, this is a show from '86 called Rad. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Starring Lori Loughlin of Full House fame. And it's just this BMX biker movie. And there's another one that stands out in my mind, BMX Bandits with Nicole Kidman, which actually has a release from Severn Films. They put that out on Blu-ray. But Rad has not been released yet. And please fulfill every young man's, dreams and release Rad. Lori Loughlin was pretty to look at back then. It's a family film. There's nothing weird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, it's PG. It was one of those summer movies. Remember those when you'd go, for like a buck or whatever, and they'd have these older, films that weren't new.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Every week they'd have a new release, and so I remember watching in the theater then. It was fun. So that's my number 5.
Okay, my number 5 is a David Lynch movie.
Yes.
That has not been released to Blu-ray yet, and that is The Straight Story, which is the film he did for Disney. It is. I have not seen. It's the only David Lynch movie I've seen, which people tell me that it does not give me a good flavor of the rest of David Lynch's work.
No, it does not.
Because it's actually a very straightforward story about a true story about a guy named Alvin Straight who got on his riding lawnmower and went across like 8 counties to go see his dying brother. Sissy Spacek is in it. Richard Farnsworth, who was a stuntman for many years and became an actor, he plays Alvin Straight in his. He was in his 90s when he made the film, so he's very, very old. Anyway, it's a beautiful movie, just lyrical, and if you can get into its rhythm, it's super emotional by the end. That's when I say it's put out by Disney, rated G. It's not even PG,
which is a little, like you say, out of character for for Lynch. That's for sure.
But man, it's funny in parts. It's one that if people like fast-paced movies, do not show that to them. But if they have a little bit more patience, it definitely rewards that. I'm looking for it. Disney, come on. Disney's been doing good on a lot of things, but there are some other ones. There's one more I'm going to mention.
I have
that Disney needs to get on.
I have two Disney titles that are on my list that have yet to we have yet to talk about. So
okay,
yeah,
go for it.
Well, I'm not ready for that yet. I'll throw out my Lynch title just since you brought it up. These were in no particular order, anyways, for me really. So I'm going to say Lost Highway. Which is a film from 1997, yes, and that's the one with Bill Pullman. It's very, very Lynchian, which if you've seen a Lynch film, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I've seen his short stories, or his short films, and man, he is out there. Of course, Eraserhead fame and Twin Peaks. Just a really phenomenal director that is very mysterious. He's an enigma. He doesn't talk a lot about his films. He leaves them all up for interpretation. And so that's one that has escaped getting a release. And so I'll throw that out there for a number 4. Sure.
I'll tell you another one of his that's really interested me that I haven't seen is The Elephant Man.
Yeah.
I hear a lot about that one with Anthony Hopkins, and also apparently that one's a little more straightforward.
It is.
As well.
Yeah.
So he dabbles in the normal.
Yeah, and Dune was kind of a flop, but there are some that are more, accessible to mainstream, I guess you could say, and those would fall in that category, that's for sure. All
right. Well, I'm going to go to a horror film that's one of my favorites. It has not seen a Blu-ray release.
Oh, no. I know what this is. Should we say it at the same time? Let's count down to 3. Yeah.
I don't think it's the same thing.
Okay, then I'm not going to say it because I'll sound really stupid.
As I say, okay, or how many words are in the title? This is how we'll figure it out.
Do you include articles?
Yes.
2.
Okay, 5. That's what.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Right. Go for it.
It's The Thing from Another World, and this is the original movie that John Carpenter's The Thing was based on, and I guess loosely Alien. This is a Howard Hawks produced science fiction horror film, and the plot is basically the same as The Thing from John Carpenter. Although I'm going to say something sacrilegious, it's better than John Carpenter's The Thing because it relies on filmmaking and geography. It does not rely on gore because they couldn't do gore.
Yeah, what about your disclaimer that you're still traumatized by The Thing when you watched it as a kid? So yeah, that's not going to be high on your list. Of course it's better than The Thing.
And I'm explaining why, though, beyond my own personal trauma.
There you go.
They do this. It was one of the first movies to do this thing, and we see this. James Cameron did this in Aliens, and we see it in John Carpenter's The Thing. But to give the monster some kind of presence where you don't see it. So this monster is radioactive in the original one, so it's the Geiger counter will go off when it's getting closer and closer and closer, and it's this really wonderful. You don't see it, but you feel it. Same thing with when they find the ship under the ice. They all stand in a circle around. They see the edge of it, and the camera pulls back, and you see these guys, and they see this huge shape of the ship under the ice. Well, of course they did that because they couldn't show it. They didn't have the means to do it. So it's one of those examples of limitations increasing the art of something. It's a fantastic movie. I'm not saying The Thing isn't a great movie. I do need to revisit it, because it actually has some really, from what I remember, some very affecting touches. But I have a special place in my heart for the original, and all we have is a DVD of that one.
Nice. All right. So,
Well, I want to see what yours is now. I want to know if, unless it's your number one pick, what was your horror film?
it's not. I'll do it now. Number 4.
Okay.
All right. From 1980, The Changeling. Is this on your list?
Oh, suck. There goes my number 2. Well, there's my number 2. Yeah, go ahead.
This is not the one directed by Clint Eastwood. This is from 1980, starring George C. Scott. And
so good.
I remember we were renting a house from the Riches. That's their last name. And we were watching this in the front room, and it's a very old house that we were living in, and I was kind of spooked anyways. But anyways, I guess I'll give away one spoiler since you've had 3 decades to watch it. When the ball comes down the stairs,
red ball,
the red ball,
yes.
and he goes to the bridge and tosses it over the bridge. And when he gets back home, opens up the door, and the ball bounces down, I ran out of the house screaming. I remember being on the front lawn just screaming. And so, yeah, it forever traumatized me. And I have revisited it. I actually bought it on DVD and watched it. And it didn't scare me quite as bad, but I still love it. It's a good, just a good ghost, horror film without the gore. Very suspenseful, and it builds well, and especially that red ball. It builds up to that red ball. It's pretty scary for a little kid to watch. So
and that one I had not seen until last Halloween.
Oh, really?
I'd never heard of it, and my boy Guillermo del Toro. Somebody asked him what his 5 favorite ghost movies were, and I think that was number 3 on his list. I'd never heard of it, so I was like, well, I've got to watch this. And it was on YouTube. And it was a really good version with no commercials. And I've bought it since then, so I'm legal now. I have it on DVD. But I sat down with my parents, with my mom, who's a huge horror movie fan. She had seen it, but years ago. Mm-hmm. And my stepdad, and we watched it last year. And even as an adult, there's one moment where the girl that George C. Scott is dating, I guess, well, they don't really date, they investigate together. She comes out of a room and she looks up these stairs and she just freezes and she looks terrified. And they don't show you what she's looking at for what feels like for freaking ever. And I don't know, I don't know. I don't want to talk about that right now. It's making me feel funky. It's George C. Scott's great in it. It's just like you said, a fantastic classic old style mystery haunting. Yeah. One of the best ghost movies ever, right up there with The Haunting and The Innocents and all those.
I love films that rely. Don't get me wrong. I love all types of horror films. I've really came to the conclusion that I feel comfortable in that skin now, saying that I'm a horror fanatic. I love horror films, and so. I really love films that don't have to rely on the shock factor, that have to rely on things like that are more, more nuanced, more subtle, but just as scary and just as suspenseful as something else. And so that one is an HBO film, and I'm surprised because they put out a lot of stuff, a lot of their made-for-TV movies. Yeah. And this one, I remember it's weird because it's rated R on some things and rated PG on others. And so I don't know if it was rated R when it came out and then it got re-rated when it got the DVD release. I'm not sure, but I watched it as a kid and there's nothing in that. It's a good family.
No, it's scary.
Yeah, it's scary, but I mean, I'd watch it with my family. Yeah. I guess that's what I'm saying. Is I'd watch it with my family.
There's no hints of immorality or nudity, not even close to that. Nothing even like that.
So I think
there's a little bit of blood. There's a little bit of blood in a couple of occasions, but nothing gory, nothing like that.
So, all right. Well, that's my 4. What's yours?
That's my 2. My top 3 is getting decimated. Okay. Let's see. My number. I guess we're on number 3 now. Is that?
Are we? Okay.
Well, I've just lost so many. I don't know where I'm at. All right, number 3 looks like it for me. Is Quiz Show. This is a movie from the early '90s. One of my absolute favorite movies. It's directed by Robert Redford, And it's this true story of the 20 Questions show that happened in the 50s, and there was this big scandal where they were giving people the answers. And I don't want to say too much more than that because it's a really interesting ride. It's all about honesty and integrity and your face in the public and your face in private and fathers and sons. And yeah, it's just a really, really good movie. And Ralph Fiennes plays the main character. He gives a fantastic performance. A lot of it's internal, so you don't see a lot of what he's going through. And it was up for a bunch of Oscars in the early 90s when it came out. It does not have a Blu-ray release, and that's one of my favorites.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna throw out Swing Kids, which is came out in '93, directed by Thomas Carter. This stars Robert Sean Leonard, remember from Dead Poets Society, Christian Bale, Frank Whaley, Barbara Hershey, and this is where I gained a love for Kenneth Branagh. After seeing this movie, I went out and started, watching his Shakespeare, renditions or adaptions and stuff. And so, this is a very powerful movie. It sounds ridiculous, Swing Kids, but what it's about is about Nazi Germany, and there is, this growing kind of rebellion, specifically among kids that listen to jazz, which was obviously, not legal in them. African American jazz players and also Jewish was definitely a no-go for Germany at that time, and so it kind of takes their story and follows along through some inner conflicts that they have. One of them kind of gets drafted into the youth Nazi group, and it's just a very emotional. Love the music, the swing music throughout. The dancing's great. The acting's top notch, and it's a good film.
Is that a Disney movie or not?
Yeah, that's one of Buena Vista titles that they need to get on.
Well, okay. So what is that on your list? What number is that?
I don't know. 3, 4.
Okay. I'm going to replace the 2 that you stole from me.
All right.
With 2 that were going to be honorable mentions. But I will replace them real quick. And then we'll get to our number 1s. So let me do these 2 real quick, and then I guess we'll do whatever we have leftovers. I wanted to get, let's see, the 2005 or 6 this came out. It's an M. Night Shyamalan film, and it's The Village, which is one of my, I'll defend it because a lot of people hate it. Excuse me, but it's one of my favorite Shyamalan films. The photography in it by Roger Deakins is amazing, and you can only get part of it on DVD. I was in a couple of years stretch where I wasn't watching movies when this came out, and so I didn't see it in the theater. I only saw it on tiny little stupid DVD TV-ness. So, and also M. Night, for whatever you think about him, he's great with sound and his sound design, so that's something else that the Blu-ray would upgrade for us. And so I'm excited for that. My other one is a Martin Scorsese movie, and that one's called The Age of Innocence, which has Daniel Day-Lewis in it. It's a period piece that's actually PG, and it's kind of this costume drama that's all about romance and hidden longing and all those things you want in your heaving bodice movies. And it's done with an amount of art that only Martin Scorsese could bring to it. Again, a gorgeous movie that I feel like I'm only seeing through like a muddy curtain on my current DVD.
I like that explanation. That's good. The Village did not make my list just because I forgot about that. I have it on DVD, and yeah, I'm a defender of that one as well. It's a beautiful film, and I think people were put off by the ending maybe, and that detracted from the rest of it. But for me, it does not detract. Well, the ending aside, the rest of the film is gorgeous and beautiful, and the music of James
the
Newton
score,
Howard.
Yeah, I was gonna say the music. Yeah.
Is that James Newton Howard that did that one? Yeah, it is.
It is, and that score was nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah,
it was the only
beautiful,
Oscar.
And the colors, the use of colors, and I found it very suspenseful, and it was great. I loved it, and I do believe that that's the pinnacle of his career as a story writer, by the way. So, anyways, different topic. All right, so what, are we to me then?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay, are we doing the number one or honorable mentions first?
Those are my honorable mentions. You can do yours if you want to.
Honorable mentions, because they're not film, they're television shows. But Psych, which is a family favorite of ours, they started filming in HD, like season 4, but, all of them could benefit from Blu-ray, and actually all my Psych DVDs are scratched to heck because we loaned them out so many times to people, but so I don't have a good copy. And Seinfeld, which is another just warm cup of Joe for me. I can watch it at any moment, any part of the day, sit there and watch a couple episodes, and it makes my day. And then the third television show I'm throwing in there is Leave It to Beaver, which the DVDs are quite well. Netflix has the HD on there, and they're gorgeous and beautiful. So again, another show from my childhood that very fond memories of. And then I have an honorable mention, Chloe. It's a French film starring Marion Cotillard. It was actually made for TV. The original uncut version is a little racy, but I haven't seen it, by the way. But the TV version, doesn't have any of that, and it's when Marion was really young, and probably I didn't look it up, but it may be one of her first couple of films, and so it was neat to see her in that. And I think that's it. Browning's The Freaks, which is a Warner Brothers classic, is not out yet, and so I haven't replaced my DVD of that yet. Okay, so my number one is another Buena Vista title, and you guys probably guessed it if you listen to our show at all, because we actually did a quiz on a weekly update of this film for me. And that is What About Bob from 1991, directed by Frank Oz. It is a travesty that this has not been released on Blu-ray yet. The only thing I can think of is that they want to just baby it and put so much effort into restoring it, have a nice 4K scan, and so they're just holding off on that, and they're doing like 1,000 supplementals. That's the only thing I'm holding out for. But I'm pretty sure
I don't know if I'd get that into it.
I know. I'm pretty sure in another 2 years we're just going to get a scaled down Blu-ray that comes in a Econo case, plastic case, with no special features and no 4K scans. So, anyways, that's my number one. Okay.
All right. My number one pick that I must have or someone will die. And that is not a threat, that is a promise. That will happen. This is not a want, this is I need the original, uncut, unaltered in any way Star Wars trilogy on Blu-ray.
Yes.
And if that does not happen at some point, like, seriously, I'll hurt somebody. And it'll be somebody innocent probably, because I won't be able to get to the people who are responsible for not making this happen. This and I'm not like a giant hater of the special editions, but I don't remember the theatrical ones that well. I had them on VHS, and I feel like I'm losing part of history. And that movie won Best Editing in 1977, and so you could make the argument that movie that won the Oscar doesn't exist anymore if we don't get that out anymore. We need to see and I love the original effects. I want to see what the original effects were like. It always pulls me out of the movie when I see these 1997 digital editions to things and big fake walking whatever. I don't care that they had to smear Vaseline on the lens to get rid of the wheels under the hovercraft. I want to see the Vaseline. That's part of it for me, is every gritty piece of that, and it just kills me that they are not available on Blu-ray. And actually, when they were on DVD, they did release them on DVD. They released them on that crappy, non-anamorphic, terrible versions of them. There is no excuse. Here's what's going to happen. Anybody listen to this that has some sway, if you want to save lives, this is what you need to have happen. Next year, 2017, is the 40th anniversary of Star Wars coming out to the theaters. get your crap together, release these movies in their original forms on Blu-ray. You'll make a fortune. You'll make a fortune.
An absolute
I don't know what the holdup is.
So you have heard the rumors, or they're not rumors. George Lucas has actually said that they do not exist, the original film
Yeah, he's
elements.
Full of crap.
I know. I'm just telling you what he has said. However, for all of you people that may have, well, I guess the ox is in the mire in this case because it doesn't exist. But you're familiar with the despecialized edition, right?
I saw a video about the despecialized edition.
Yeah, it's like Harmy's or something, and you can actually download it for free and print off your own, artwork and everything, and so it's kind of a bootleg. But right now, I think that's the only way you're going to get that from. And
here's the thing. Okay, hold on. I know what you're saying, and I need somebody who knows how to do computer things to do that for me. Because I've never downloaded a movie in my life. I don't even know where to start. But I saw what they did with that. These guys got together and they have a scanner, a digital scanner, and they had a Technicolor print of the originals, and they had another reference and another. They had like 5 different references they were using.
Like European references. Like they found these film remnants from like all over the world and kind of congregated them together. Yeah. Really cool.
Well, and it has the original crawl. It doesn't say A New Hope. It doesn't say Episode 4. It just says Star Wars, and and they've gone through it and they color corrected it based off the Technicolor print, using that as a reference. And I believe it's a 2K scan, too. Off of whatever materials they've got. Anyway, they're doing the Lord's work. Don't get me wrong, but I think that there's no excuse because George Lucas has sold this company.
Oh, man.
It is no longer his. And I think, if I understand correctly, that Fox owns the release rights to Star Wars, and Lucasfilm owns Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Oh, really?
And if you're going to make that much money, you can get together on this. There's no reason. And okay, let's say for the sake of argument that the original negatives are gone or something like that. There still must be amazing, great, really early prints
all over, you think.
Inner positives and all kinds of stuff that have to be preserved. And with the digital wonders we can do today, the Blu-rays I have right now, they're special edition, and they're also colored a little funny. There's kind of a burgundy hue to the whole thing.
Really?
So I need it to be the originals. I need it to be color corrected the right way, and then what else is there but wait for grandkids and retirement? So
I think if anyone can do it, Disney can. They don't have a good track record with What About Bob? But I think that they can pull it together because they have the resources, they have the desire, they really hold their prized possessions at great value, and they really take good care in preserving those. And so hopefully someone there at Disney is thinking ahead of the game and
I'm sure. Well, I bet this is my hope and my bet that as soon as before the ink was dry on the sale, they were trying to say, okay, how do we make this the best thing we can? When is the best time to do it? How do we,
Yeah.
So that's my hope.
I know. The most depressing thing, I remember when they re-released them in theater, the originals, when you saw the new Anakin when he's, what I'm saying, when they replaced
at the end
him.
of Return to the Jedi. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I wanted to throw up. It was just horrible. Anyways, all right. Well, does that wrap it up?
That's it.
All right, sweet. Well, all you, your studios out there, get your crap together. Start putting these out. You're doing great. You're releasing a lot of good stuff. But here's some of our favorites that we want released right away. So we appreciate you tuning in. Again, this has been the Valhalla Filmcast. I'm Brian Hammond.
And I'm Cody Rowry.
We'll see you next time.